The UN General Assembly condemned Myanmar's military coup and called for an arms embargo against the country in a resolution.
They demanded the restoration of the country's democratic transition. The measure was approved with 119 countries voting yes, Belarus voting no, and 36 countries abstaining, including Myanmar's neighbors, China and India, along with Russia. UN Special Envoy Christine Schreiner-Bergener warned the General Assembly after the vote that the risk of a large-scale civil war is real. The resolution was the result of lengthy negotiations by a so-called core group, including the European Union and many Western nations and the 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, which includes Myanmar. But in the vote, ASEAN members were divided. Myanmar, whose UN ambassador supports the ousted democratic government, voted yes, along with Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, and the Philippines, while Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Brunei abstained.
Though the resolution did not get the overwhelming support its backers had hoped for, the action by the General Assembly reflects international condemnation of the coup. The resolution also addresses another major issue facing Myanmar's military related to ethnic minorities, especially the Rohingya Muslims in northern Rakhine State. The General Assembly expressed concerns over the human rights of the Rohingya and other minorities, singling out the denial of citizenship to almost all Rohingyas and reiterating the responsibility of the Myanmar armed forces to respect the human rights of all people in Myanmar. The resolution called on Myanmar's armed forces to immediately facilitate a visit by Schreiner-Bergener.
Even after the ethnic cleansing in 2017 has led to a culture of impunity in Myanmar, and we can see that playing out now for other minorities as well.
I take to this rostrum with a heavy heart.
Voting has been completed.
The result of the vote is as follows.
As a democratic country, Bangladesh deeply.
The regional threat of the crisis is real.
Bangladesh deeply cares about restoration of constitutional order.
A system built on brutality and bloodshed will not survive. It's not too late for the military to reverse the negative trajectory on the ground, exercise restraint, and respect the will of its own people. We must raise our voices for those who have been silenced, detained, injured, or killed. We must be ardent advocates for the protection of all fundamental human rights, including the rights to freedom of expression, access to information, and of peaceful assembly, which have been repeatedly infringed upon by the military-led authorities.
Time is of the essence. The opportunity to reverse the military takeover is narrowing and regional threat increasing. Attempts to discredit democratically elected leaders and eliminate a party which has won sweeping majority in 2 consecutive general elections, silencing of free media and arrest of journalists, national and foreign, as well as the blocking of access to information, fundamentally point a departure from democratic space. Any sustainable peace must be reflective of the will of the people. Inclusive political dialogue is urgently needed.